Okay, let's talk about little bit about physical training for sword fighting, what I've been doing, or actually I am doing. And this might be helpful if you are coming back from a long break, or if you want to maintain your abilities during a break from fighting. So of course there are different kinds of fighting, so I need to clarify a bit. So I'm fighting in armor, not the super heavy armor, but I think my gear is around 50 kilograms, which includes the weapons, 15 or 16. So it's kind of medium or light armor, which way you want to see it. It's not the super heavy 30-40 kilos. I did 34 kilo stuff long time ago, but my legs just couldn't take it. It was way too heavy, and I have to tell you, it wasn't too much fun. So now we are walking here in the Iron Age fortress of Rapola in the middle Finland. We are in the bottom of the pit. So everything around me is basically the walls. They are huge. So this is like a natural formation, and behind me back there is the well, now dried up. But this is probably the biggest hill fortress in Finland. Lots of bushes, hard to see, but nice place to walk. Some mosquitoes, which I don't like. Anyway, yeah, so about the training. I was watching YouTube videos and about training, and it seems to be the case that funnily enough these days there is this concurrent training idea that yes, so we are having to be able to develop strength and endurance at the same time, or other physical qualities. I was kind of, yeah, so is this something new? I have one book from the 70s by Morehouse. So Morehouse is the guy who developed the NASA astronaut program for the guys in space. So he was heavily involved in the heart rate monitoring and using that for endurance building. Anyway, but already in that book he described the method, and I think the Russians have been using that also for the longest time. So it's nothing new. So as a sword fighter, you will be needing strength, some muscles, because muscle size is important. Without muscles there is not much movement. And then of course endurance. So for example, we are climbing the hill here. So I'm just going very slow so that I won't fall down or trip. But fact is, you need endurance. It's rarely going to be just one fight. And even if it's one fight, it's going to be a minute or two sometimes. So you have to be able to at least fight that long, maybe longer. I find 10 minutes fighting speed. That's a good target. So we need it all, and question is how to practice for it. And the answer is already out there. It's been already out there for, I don't know, thousands of years. Because what people get wrong is they go to gym and then they try to do something in order to improve something, some parameters in the body, without understanding that it's kind of correct, yes, but if the thing is that there's this principle of adaptation, so the stress you put your body into will then cause the adaptation. So this is really well known. So what you are doing in the gym is never going to be the same as you're fighting. It can be a little bit similar, but it's not going to be the same. So this means that the first thing to take into the equation is the fighting itself. Sparring, you have to do it. If you want to spar, have endurance in sparring, you will have to spar, or at least make a good simulation of it. So you do maybe solo practice that mimics the sparring very closely. But definitely you will have to do it, because otherwise you are not optimally practicing for the task you are trying to do. And I'll simplify a little bit. So your heart is pumping blood, but if in the gym you are exercising now your legs only, the legs will suck the blood and not so much will go into your arms. And if you are like practicing with your arms, they will be needing most of the blood, not your legs. So your body will be pushing the little bit, adjusting where the things go. It's so wise. And meaning that then if you go into sword fighting, your legs are moving, your arms are moving, your middle body is moving, everything is moving. So your body system has to divide the blood so that it goes into different places in the correct proportions, so that every part of your body will get what they need. So I don't know how these decisions are done, but bodies are complicated systems. So now in the gym you are teaching maybe single body part at a time, which is not really matching. And that's the reason that doing gym work only, you will never be optimal for the fighting. And of course, as you understand, even a single sword strike will be like a combination of different joints moving, and there is efficiency. So you need to get the body mechanics in there as well. But if we forget about that, so let's say you go do that practice simulation or practice 3 times per week, even just 10 minutes a time, I think that's gonna be enough if you get the heart rate up, if you do a simulation or actual practice of the techniques. And there is also a problem. If you only do that, it will not be optimal for muscle and joint development. It will take a longer time to achieve the necessary level what you want to achieve. So it's much faster to go to gym or lift some weights to get your muscles bigger than try to grow those by doing the sword fighting itself. So now it depends totally on your style. Some styles don't need big muscles, but if you're like wearing heavy armor, heavy weapons, you will need those. If there is any pushing or wrestling type of activity involved, you need some muscles, otherwise it's just not gonna work. You're gonna be too light to start with. Any shield charges you have to resist or do, your body mass will be important, and you don't want that mass to be fat because you want it to be muscle or close to it. So on top of the training simulation, we will be doing, in my opinion, we should be doing strength. So this is something that you will do from 1 to 5 repetitions of a movement. So what I like to do is this push, pull, squat kind of thing. Push, pull, squat. Or push, pull, legs. PPL, you can look it up. There are different moves, but it's basically arms and legs. And you do the kind of full body in every session. So I do only one set of the kind of pull down movement. I do one set of push movement here. Then I do one set of pull movement here. So actually it's like lower pull. And then one set of push, straight up here. And then the squat. So total of 5 movements in a session, and only one set of each, because I do those to failure. Failure means that you're like 1, 2, and then you can't do it, so you keep it here for maybe 3 seconds, then you give up. So that's like a failure. So that's day 1, strength day, Monday. So then in that Monday morning or evening, you can switch. I've also done the fighting simulation practice, maybe 10 minutes, elevated heart rate, strikes with the sword. So depending on the case, it's maybe 500 to 600 strikes. So I'm kind of striking continuously different strikes no stopping in there. So that's like Monday. Tuesday, what I do is it's summertime, so I like to go out cycling. So I do maybe half an hour to 1 hour ride, really easy, or I go walking, half an hour, 1 hour walk. Depends a little bit of the weather and what I feel. But it's either cycling or walking. And then on top of that, I will do some very light technical work with the sword or a stick. So that's like Tuesday. Wednesday in the morning, I make another fight simulation session, 10 minutes or so, a little bit like intervals. So you go like 30 seconds as fast as you can, and then 30 seconds with the same speed you went on Monday. So your heart rate will be 160 plus minus 10 or something like that in the low end. But when the interval hits, you go as fast as you can. And you have to regulate that yourself so that you can last for the whole 10 minutes. So if your heart rate goes above 170, you have to chill down a little bit. So use a heart rate monitor. That's the morning session. Then in the evening, I go to gym. I'm gonna be doing the hypertrophy or lower weight session. So it's gonna be 15 to 20 repetitions, the same movements. So kind of pull, push, pull here, push here, and then the squat. So this 15 to 20 repetitions. So it's a lighter weight than on Monday. And this one I won't do into failure or even close. So I take a cadence and you start pumping. And then when it slows down, it gets more difficult. When it starts to slow down, then I stop. Because the Monday session was the biggest impact to the muscles actually. So this one I want to keep a little bit lighter. Okay, so in the morning we had the fighting simulation session, and now in the evening we have the gym for like muscle building, let's say, lower weights. And then on Thursday we typically have the fighter practice. So I might do some cycling on the daytime or not, maybe some walk. And then in the evening we have the fighter practice. It's 2 to 3 hours, but the actual fighting time can be as little as 10 minutes once again. So it depends a little bit like what I want to do during the day, but the whole idea is not to get like really tired because the fighter practice is quite tough. So it's like once again this endurance day only, but it's like a fighting, so it's sparring. And then on Friday in the morning it's gonna be probably not the fighting simulation because I did it Thursday evening, so I don't need to do that. So it's maybe some walk, really slow walk or easy bike ride in the morning. And then in the evening I will go to gym, and this will be muscle endurance. So it means that same moves, push, pull, legs again, but this time it will be anything from 35 to 50 repetitions. So it's quite a lot, but it's really lightweight. And the same story once again, you pick up the speed, what you are doing, and when you start to slow down, that's when you finish. So it's not gonna go to failure. And then basically the weekend is off. I do whatever I want, so it's only weekly practice. I do some technical work on the weekends, so some striking once again, learning new stuff. So it's more like learning new stuff on the weekends, practicing new stuff or reiterating through some other stuff. But it's not gonna be heavy, it's gonna be super light work. So on Saturday and Sunday. Also maybe some bike rides or walking. So pretty much every day I do something, but the heavy exercises are quite limited. And in the gym, this kind of push-pull legs, it's less than half an hour. Might be as short as 20 minutes depending on the equipment availability. So it's really quick workout. And I'll talk about it later, but there is a reasoning behind this. So there is this repetitions, how many repetitions can you do with a certain weight, and it makes a curve. So the heavier the weight, the fewer repetitions you can do. And then when you decrease the weight, so weight is in the y-axis, for example, heavy weight, just 5 repetitions, you decrease the weight, you can do maybe 20, you decrease the weight, you can do 50 or maybe even more. So it's this kind of a curve. So with different force levels, you get different output time. It's what the people do when the pro cyclist or even hobbyist cyclist, they have this power curve. So it's the same thing with gym weights. So when we are training the whole range of it, and this is sometimes called hybrid training or concurrent training, and it's very effective for fighting because you have to have high strength exercises, but also you have to have the endurance. So what your body does, I was talking about the adaptation, is that your body will try to adapt this by its own way. So it will never be the strongest, or you will be never having the best endurance like a long distance runner with this kind of training plan, but you will have quite optimal setup for fighting in armor, in this kind of semi-heavy combat. I wouldn't recommend this for somebody who does sports fencing, for example, because they don't have to deal with this kind of heavy weapons and heavy gear in there. So it's not needed, I think. Maybe even not for HEMA, it's quite light, but maybe yes. So you need to adjust. So I'll make a separate video how to program this really. But to recap, it will be a mix of sparring, weight training with heavy, medium and light weights, using 5 reps, 20 reps, 50 reps ranges, and then during the days some really light walking or cycling, just for fun, but also for recovery. So even if you haven't been practicing for a long time, you can start with this, because if you set the rep ranges right, you are going to be starting with the low weights anyway. So it's never going to be too tough a workout. But I'll make a better video later. That kind of thing.